Hey guys, Mysterious Man Toby coming at you with my review on the latest episode of Attack on Titan. So, in this episode, we have Armin speaking with Eren and Mikasa, and he expands on the concept of the Titans in a wall, and that it makes sense. And again, it's pretty fucked up how their enemy has been protecting them the whole time. But he's talking about the Titans being in a wall, and he's like, yeah, it has to be pretty versatile. The hardening of the skin has to be pretty versatile. Thinking about Annie. And so it makes sense for the wall to be filled with tines and for hardened skin to be the material that it's made of. And then we got Pastor Nick and Levi and Hanji there as well. And and Pastor Nick is there because they want to show him up close and personal how devastating the Titans are and how scary they can be. They want to show him what they're fighting for in hopes that he'll squill, talk. And so Levi, being the badass he is literally, he kind of pulls out his gun. He's like, yeah, and if that doesn't work, there's more than one way to get him to talk. And then Hanji's like, put that shit away. I've already tried that shit. It didn't work. So that was pretty interesting. And one thing Hanji did point out was that what if what he isn't talking about, what if what he won't tell them is more important than keeping the human race alive? Which that's mind blowing. What could be more important than keeping the human race alive? Why won't he talk? And of course, we got to give a shout out to Mikasa being just oh my goodness, the A1 bae. She is literally bae or wife goals because Aaron's jacket is kind of falling off. She's like, wear it properly because it's going to get cold at night. And I'm just like, damn, man. People would kill for something like Mikasa. I'm telling you. But anyways, we get right into the meat of the episode, which is, a little backstory on Sasha and how she came from a family of hunters, and it's further supported by the dialect, their country dialect. And yeah, it's interesting about what her father says. He ultimately, says that, how can you expect people to be there for you when you're not going to be there for them? Because he's contemplating, moving out of the woods and moving into the city and just raising horses for money because the government will pay them. And she doesn't want to leave her way of life. That's all she's known. And he's assuming that she's just afraid of, change. He's afraid of having to fit in with society. And he was ultimately right. I'll, elaborate on that in a little bit. But then we get a look at Sasha, and she stumbles upon a village, and in that village there's a Titan there, and he's eating this child's mother, and the child is in a room just watching. She looks extremely destroyed, by the way, and Sasha's just like, whoa, what the heck? And from far away, I couldn't really tell this Titan was a human or a Titan because of the way it looked. It really looked like a human at first, and so I was just like, what the hell, is this a human or a Titan? Because they were giving us different angles, and I was just like, man, what the hell is this? But it turns out it was a Titan, eating her mom. And Sasha tries to protect the kid. She grabs an axe and just wells away at the nape of the neck, and it doesn't work. And that really just makes you wonder, damn, like their blades, the blades that they use to slice the nape of the neck, that in conjunction with the 3D maneuver gear, is really, really good. Like, it's made of some high quality stuff because the axe didn't do anything to that Titan. And yet the blade sliced through easily. And so she grabs the child and she starts running. The Titan starts coming after them. And then we get some we finally figure out, why she's there and what actually happened. And apparently her mother has bad legs. And when the Titan came to attack, the whole village fled, and no one came to get her mother or help them at all. And the child couldn't do anything about it. She couldn't carry her mother. She couldn't do anything but watch it happen. And no one came to help. And I bet you these are the same people that are literally like, okay, I bet you the kid walked outside in the morning from time to time, and she would just wave to the people and say, hey, and smile, and they would smile back. It was all fun and games. It was good. It was a perfect little world. But when the Titans came, they said, fuck them. And it's just sad how, that's the case with a lot of people, when things go south, they change and they only care about themselves. And that was a big play on that aspect of the anime that I really liked. I really liked that was that was definitely shown, because it shows you that in this, especially not even in this anime, but just in general, people are not always what they seem, especially when their life is at stake. And so that was very unfortunate for the girl. But then we get a little flashback of Ymir and Crystal talking with Sasha. And basically, Ymir approaches Sasha and she's like, "You don't really speak this way. You don't really act this way. You're hiding something. You're not being your true self." But ultimately, who cares? And the message that she was trying to get thrown across was that just be yourself, and people will either like you for who you are, or they'll hate you. And if they hate you, fuck it, just be yourself, and I'm sure everything will work out. Although she said she was really hard on Sasha, Crystal was even telling her to back off. I feel like it was definitely needed, and it really helped Sasha. And she even said thank you by the end of that, little, I guess, pep talk. And so that was very interesting to see that they were just trying to get her out of her comfort zone and trying to get her to be who she was, because I feel like that's why her father said, "Are you really that scared?" Because she didn't think she was going to fit in with society, and her being so polite and, just the way she acted, with, just doing stupid things and being polite and, not, and being scared ultimately, she just didn't want to change. She was just scared of it all. She was scared of that society. She didn't want to blend in. She didn't want to leave what her way of life was and ultimately adapt or just, blend in. And then after that, we get back to the time chasing Sasha and the kid. And after all this character development, Sasha finally grows and she's like, "Keep running. I promise you there'll be people there to help you at the end of your path." And that's a play on a play on words that, even though, yes, you just had something extremely tragic happen to you, the people that you thought cared about you left you and your mother like you were nothing just to save their asses. But trust me, there are good people out there. And so that's the reason why she was telling her to run, it'll be all right. And she turns around, she tries to and she understands that she can use a bow and arrow to blind the Titan to buy them more time. And so it comes down to her in her last arrow, and she needs to shoot the other eye. And at first you think, okay, well, obviously the obvious thing to do is just to shoot the arrow from a distance. Yeah, it's risky, you could miss, but you're still safe. And then she just thinks to herself, "I've got to save this child." And she ultimately puts someone first before herself. And that was just really, really crazy. And she grabs the arrow and she just stabs the Titan, and she almost dies in the process, actually. But the blood allows her to slip out and she escapes. So that was really, really interesting in that she put someone else before herself. And it all worked out in the end. And then she meets her father. Surprisingly, her father is actually the one that helps the child. The child actually says there's someone else back there. And the father comes in to help her. And it ends up being Sasha, and they have their little talk, their little reunion, and Sasha says, "I'm home." It was very heartwarming. A nice happy ending to that story. But then we got Connie. I kind of forgot about Connie at this point, but yeah, he's still on his way to his village, and he gets there, and Titans have been there, and the city is just destroyed. And so he gets to his house, and oddly enough, there's a Titan on the house. But the Titan can't move. Its legs are very small. Its arms are very small, almost as if it's a baby. And they're just wondering, like, how the hell did this Titan get here? Like, what's going on here? It doesn't look like the Titan, kind of took a blow and it fell on the house, and it was regenerating. Because it was regenerating, it'd be crawling, things like that. Stuff like, just, it wouldn't be lying on its back like that. And it was just there. So Connie and Reiner, they don't know how the hell it got there, and I sure as hell don't know either. So hopefully they expand on that in a few more episodes or so, because I definitely want to know how the hell that Titan got there. So anyways, that was pretty much it for this episode. It was very somber, a lot more softer, so to speak, than the season premiere. And it wasn't bad or anything. It's not like I was dreading the episode throughout the entirety of me watching it. It was nice, honestly. Our animation was on point. I didn't see anything off with that. And ultimately, it was nice, We got to see more about Sasha and some other little things here and there with the walls and Pastor Nig. And then we get to see more about, we got to see Connie and his situation and how that was going along. So ultimately, it's looking pretty good and interesting. We didn't really get anything answered. We're getting a lot of questions and no answers, and so I'm hoping that in a few, with the next episode or so, we get an answer to some of these questions. So it's looking like it's going to be pretty crazy though when it all unfolds. And of course, I'm going to be reviewing those episodes as well. So yeah, that was my review of the. Well, oh yeah, I almost forgot the rating. I'd give it a nice 7.5, 8. It was nice. It wasn't amazing, but it was by no means trash at all. It was a good episode. Like, just a nice episode to set up some things and keep it moving along. So it's looking good. It really is. I like the pacing of it a lot. So yeah, this is Mysterious Man Toby, and I've just reviewed episode 2 of Attack on Titan. Of course, you can catch me reviewing the next episode, and if you want to check out my episode of the previous, my review of the previous episode, you can look in the description. You'll find a link in the description to that episode as well. And of course, I have other content on my channel. Thank you for watching. This has been Mysterious Man Toby, signing off.